Vladimir Putin. This is Outnumbered, and I'm Melissa Francis. I feel better than I sound. Here today is Harris Faulkner, Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, host of Kennedy on the Fox Business Network, Kennedy. And then we have all the political wranglings back here. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Let's get to it.
Of that and put that into the agreement from NAFTA, it's not all that different.
Problem on his hands with the middle class saying, well, what about these censorship and what about these opportunities that you promised us as a government that are no longer coming? And that is a problem for him domestically if he can't get a deal with the president.
And you touch on something that's so important, and that's economic mobility. That's something that is built into our system, but that's
been affected by these tariffs from the U.S.
And it's why it's all tougher for President Xi. In America, when
to domestic politics, it really has nothing to do with us being big fat bullies and threatening to invade Ukraine.
Right. And so now we see the president. Those critics, well, the president isn't telling the truth because not telling the truth, but not telling the truth now?
I don't know, man. I think that some of this is fluid for him. And I think, you know, his memory sort of changes with time. And that's one of the reasons his lawyers didn't want him sitting down with special counsel. But in his defense, and
what the point is here.
Giving away anything that they didn't absolutely have to me, that sounds like, hey, guess what? Here's the price of doing business. You have to do this.
Yeah.
An idea that was floated. And you know, whether or not they would have ever done it, to me, you would have to have them or any other New York real estate developer who doesn't, none of them give away anything.
I want to go back to the president's critics on this because I think
as Alan Dershowitz pointed out that the pleas and the charges and the indictments.
Comey, there is in fact that negotiation going on that the rest of us wouldn't have access to.
Right.
And so we know that because it's now being reported that perhaps there would be classified information. That's what I think the bigger concern should be.
The evidence is that Comey's already lied to
Republicans, if they believe truly that he has lied under oath and they have evidence for that, they have the ability and the power to refer him for criminal prosecution. So they have a time period now.
What happens when you hire somebody?
Yeah, is anything protected by attorney-client privilege anymore? It's very curious, but I don't understand how people could take someone who has clearly lied and
I've never, in the history of your career,
you wants it, it's going to be a show.
That's a great question, because which is worse, not knowing or seeing a clown show?
I think that the essential difference between.
But what did come out of this summit that's significant is the deal between the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and this meeting that just occurred there between the president.
And seeing Japan, India, and the United States, that sends a pretty clear message to China because
of progress.
Yeah, real quickly too, Vladimir Putin on the camera so we could see that as well. So just reporting the news.
Interesting stuff.
Very interesting, and we'll keep you posted on all of it. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Now we want to bring it back out to the couch to talk about one of the things that we just saw, a short terms of a response to this, what's been talked about privately, what's coming. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot that we don't know. However, I think it's a bigger picture. We've talked about the Iran issue, but I saw an article yesterday in the Jerusalem Post about how Saudi Arabia and Egypt are potentially going to open up trade with Israel, which is peace in the Middle East that we have not ever seen. So it's a broader, bigger picture than just punishing Saudi Arabia for what happened. And the president isn't going to just
bureaucracy, and something like this really reminds you how they're different from their neighbors. Well, that was a fun hour. We want to say thanks to David Avelli. You have a
happy Friday.
I love that. Friday. All right, good stuff. Thanks to all of you. We will be back here at noon Eastern on Monday. And now, here's Harris.